Coffee and a cigarette. Breakfast of champions. I've been doing this every morning, 14 years. Now, breakfast is kind of a relative term for us line cooks. The hours that we work, usually I wouldn't get done working until bar close. And then, after hours, get-togethers, get home. Usually I get home about the time people are starting to wake up to go to their normal 9 to 5 jobs. So breakfast for me was usually in the afternoon between 2 and 3, so I could make it to work by 4. As a line cook. As a chef, that changed. Then I'd have to pull splits. I'd get done about 11, go into work about 9. Have a couple hours off in the afternoon, but coffee and a cigarette was a good time before a shift. Calms you down, settles the stomach from the night before's partying. It's always good. Well, I'm Frederick Cohn. I'm a professional chef. I've been a professional chef now for almost 18 years, and it's been a lot of fun. And so I figured that would be what I would show you guys how to do. I'll be going through the steps of how to make crepes. Like most people, I started working fast food, McDonald's, Burger King. But really, my brothers in the early 90s, back in the Belltown district of Seattle, Washington, opened up a pizza shack. And I got a job there slinging pie and salads, working for them. And that was kind of pretty much the first real exposure I got to kind of the culture of the food and restaurant industry. Total with fast food experience, about 17 and a half years. As a professional line cook and chef, I would say probably about 14 of those years for actual professional fine dining. Personally, ever since I was a little kid, I always loved cooking, and I think really that first job, being experienced to that kind of culture and lifestyle really drew me into wanting to pursue it further. For me personally, it's being on the line in the middle of a supper rush, and everything's just crazy, and you're 18 tickets deep, and you got 12 pans going. That kind of tension and excitement just is probably the best thing about it. Alright, so I'm Frederick Cohn, professional chef. I'm going to kind of walk you through the steps of how to make crepes. And I guess the first step is your ingredients, what all you need, and measurements and whatever for it. So first thing is you need a cup of flour. All-purpose flour is fine. You don't need fancy cake flour, whole wheat flour if you want. 2 eggs, quarter cup of milk, half a cup of milk, half a cup of water, a quarter teaspoon of salt, 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter melted prior to using it. What I do is I kind of get all my mise en place, all my ingredients and utensils and everything set up so that when I start I can just kind of go right through and make them. I got all that set up, so first things first, in a large mixing bowl,
kind of whisk together the flour and the eggs, kind of a lumpy consistency, and then gradually mix in all the other ingredients. I usually put the milk and the water together and then just pour it in at the same time. And then the quarter teaspoon of salt, and then finally the milk and butter. At that point, whisk it up real good. Make sure you get all the lumps and air bubbles out of it so it's a nice, smooth, consistent batter. And then after that, you're kind of ready to start making crepes. So with a large skillet, saute pan, I usually use kind of a non-stick one. They seem to be a little easier for making crepes. Get a little bit of olive oil or cooking oil, just a little bit, going over medium-high heat. And once you kind of see it start to smoke, you pour in a quarter cup of the batter. And with your saute pan, you kind of swirl it around in like a circular motion to spread all the batter out evenly over, kind of the entire surface of the pan. Similar to a pancake, but very, very thin. And once that sets, you kind of jiggle a little bit if you have a non-stick. If not, just let it sit. Usually it takes about 2 minutes per side. You can kind of tell when it kind of bubbles and kind of firms up on the top when it's ready to be flipped. And you can use a spatula. I usually use like a little skewer or a toothpick and kind of pick up the edge and then gently pull the whole crepe toward me. And when it gets almost out of the pan, then you just kind of flip it over. If you're good with a saute pan, you can jiggle the pan and toss it without doing that, but it takes a little bit of experience doing that. And then you just cook the other side for about 2 minutes. It'll be a light brown, but they're going to be soft and rollable, not crispy in any way. Once that's done, transfer it over to a pan. Cook however many you want. Usually the recipe that I gave you is we'll do probably about 8-inch crepes. Once you got them all done and ready to go, you can start topping them, pretty much topping them with whatever you want. Me personally, I love Nutella. It's kind of an Italian chocolate hazelnut spread. So me, I put one on a plate, take a scoop of the Nutella out, and kind of spread it relatively thin, but covering the entire crepe. And then from an edge, you just kind of roll up the crepe, kind of not real tight, but you want a nice firm roll. And then once they're rolled up, I usually roll up, 1 or 2, sometimes 3, depending on how hungry I am. I put Nutella down over the top, and then I like apples, so I put sliced apples over the top, and then sprinkle the whole thing with powdered sugar, and then pretty much that's what you have. Your finished crepes, and you're ready to enjoy.